If you're ready to explore the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith, then grab your Bible and let's get started. Shabbat Shalom and welcome back on this gorgeous Sabbath day. So glad that you guys are able to make it here with me on today for those who will be coming in and those who, of course, will be joining me on the replay. I'm going to give you a forewarning that we're getting into the last three chapters of Judges. The last ones are what many people would consider these events to be controversial. And I guess what we should be looking at is the standards that are set by the Torah versus the standards that are set by society, today's society, because we clearly understand that the standards of every society throughout time has changed. There has been some positive and some negative changes within the society of today, and of course, some changes in the body of Messiah. But we also keep in mind that the instructions, the Torah, the law of Yehovah, again, it is timeless. This is the instructions that will not um, end until the new heaven and a new earth comes. Yeshua, our Messiah, taught us that. So these instructions will be here for this time, for this earth and this heaven. So what we should be looking at again is, as believers, the instructions that are giving to Moses from Yehovah. It is to set you apart from the world, set you apart from society, to set you apart from getting a reprobate mind, to set you apart as a holy people and from society, because society is of the world. It will never be holy. It can show some glimpse of what we think that is a standard of holiness, but it's not. You know, some people will get it mixed up and confused because, the enemy will show himself as something of light, but is not. So the guidelines from the kingdom, it sets us apart. And this is what the book of Judges is giving us, this information of how going in your own ways, self-governing yourself is something that was not allowed. You are to follow the kingdom's instructions, its constitution, if you will. And learning from the children of Israel is what we are learning on what to do and what not to do. This is all written for our learning. Welcome to Reconcile the Kingdom, where we're working towards growing in a harmony of the whole word of truth. My name is Patrice Robinson, and I greatly appreciate every last one of you again who has allowed me to have time with you and your friends and your family. And I want to take this time to greet all visitors. If this is your first time visiting, I welcome you. 5th, 10th, 100, 400 time. I most definitely welcome you. And again, thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. But I'm hoping that you are here and that you're ready to join this family, that you're ready to join this family that does not mind searching the scriptures, that you're ready to join this family, does not mind challenging the religious system teachings that we have been under for hundreds of years. A family that is open to being a lifetime student of the Bible, a family that's ready to explore the Hebrew roots of your Christian faith. And it's easy to join this family. There's no membership you have to pay for or anything like that. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button below and the bell. Don't forget the bell, because the bell lets you know when I'm live, any updates, any announcements that's coming from this ministry. Also, the community tab on YouTube is also set for that, just continue a communication. So that is not the only way that you can support this family, support this ministry as we are going forward. Other ways you can support is making comments below. Send an emoji, ask a question, make a suggestion, anything like that in the comment. We have to learn to communicate, and it's okay if you don't agree. That's okay. Just say it in a respectful manner, and then we can have some dialogue. That's the whole purpose. Share the link. Share the link when you're live, when you're on the replay. Share the link because you learning something. Someone else can learn something. Give me a thumbs up. Most definitely let me know that you enjoy the biblical content that I am sharing with you. And of course, the thumbs up is important because it also let YouTube know to send this information out to more people. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Spotify, YouTube podcast for those who have the membership. Shop in the digital online shop. Now we have individual Bible companions, we have workbook Bible companions, and you know that we will be ending Judges soon and going to the book of Ruth. So the sale is no longer the 50% of everything sale is off, but you most definitely can go in the online shop and get your Ruth's workbook. And don't forget Exodus because we'll be starting both Ruth and Exodus in the month of November. Very excited about moving forward. Donate in the love jar. Donating the love jar is you supporting this ministry as a way of growing the ministry and doing all the extra work that is set on the back end of ministry. So I'm thankful for all of you who do go into the online shop when you view things and when you shop, those who are willing to donate and follow me on all the different social medias. I want to take time out and say thank you because I greatly appreciate those who are willing to do that. So don't forget at the end of the teaching, you have opportunity to ask questions about the teaching that is presented to you today. I'm encouraging you as usual to comment and share throughout the teaching. So we always begin our teaching with going over the previous week chapter, going over the key points, any questions, insight, or anything that I want to share. So I'm going to bring up my Judges worksheet. And this is for Judges chapter 18 that we was on last week. So Judges chapter 18, you know, there was a lot going on in Judges chapter 18, but the the key point in the Judges era, we must understand that this is after they went over through the promised land. They had great leaders, Moses, they had Joshua. And so now here in Judges, they don't have that shepherd like they had with Joshua and with Moses. So they have no king in Israel, no human king, I should say, in Israel. So this is the theme that continues in the book of Judges. So Jehovah's people are behaving as there is no king because Jehovah is there. You remember the tabernacle is there, the Ark of Covenant where his throne is there. So he is there, but they're behaving as if he is not around because there's no human king around. So the people are living as they are self-governing themselves. That again, that theme, there's no king in Israel. We find in Judges 17:6, Judges 18:1, Judges 21:25, Judges 19:1. So we're seeing this doing things, right in their own eyes because there's no king in Israel. And we see this going on today. And this follows from Moses in Deuteronomy chapter 12, verse 8. If you read chapter 12, Deuteronomy is about him Moses getting the people ready for the promised land. So he's hammering in things and reminding them of things. And so he's talking about not worshiping other gods and not following among the other people and what they're doing. And so he is basically telling them the same thing all over again. In Deuteronomy chapter 12, I'm going to actually pull that up and read that. You should not do all the things that you desire here this day. So do not do the things that are right in your own eyes. Every man whatsoever is right in their own eyes. Moses began with that in Deuteronomy chapter 12. And we see that the people continue to do that. So we see this again today. So we have denomination and non-denominational religious systems, and we see society today going by doing things in their own eyes. In the Proverbs chapter 12, verse 5, it says, the way of a fool is right in his own eye, but they that hearken unto counsel is wise. Again, we have this no king in Israel doing things that is right in their own eyes. This is, again, a powerful message that resonates even today. So in Judges chapter 18, we was focused on the Danites. So the Danites, 5 men, scouted out the land. Laish went back, got 600 men. They're back, and they're stopping by Micah's house for the night because they're going to go fight. So the Danites, while they were there, the 5 men that scoured the land told the other men about what Micah had in his house. So they decided to steal it. They stole the ephod, the golden and molten image, but they didn't steal the Levite. The Levite left willingly for a better offer. You will no longer be a priest of just one man, one household. You can be a priest over a tribe. You know how much you can get paid for being the priest of a tribe? Basically, what the Danites are saying to him. He's a priest for hire. This caused a snare to the Danites, actually, because the Danites no need to go to Shiloh for some. They can stay among their land that they have conquered and serve under this priest and this priest and this priest's bloodline. Though that this priest himself, which we found out his name was Jonathan, is not a priest, but he is a descendant of the Levitical bloodline. Because we found out that this priest is the grandson of Moses, which brings me to my insight. So, because this is the grandson of Moses, most of us would expect more from him. Anytime there's a great leader, their descendants, their children, their grandchildren, we are expecting better, a higher standard because of who that leader was. But this reminds me that this is an individual walk for all believers to walk in the standards and the ordinance of the Father Yehovah as his son Yeshua did. This is not about who you related to. This is an individual walk. Sure, it was not easy to hear what Moses' grandson is doing. Totally walking outside the ways of Yehovah, the ways that his grandfather had taught the people to walk. So that was different. But we all have our own individual walk. So we shouldn't put pressure on other people to be like, we shouldn't put the pressure on Jonathan to be like Moses, but that's what we are expecting. But this is the individual walk. Jonathan has, and I had an opportunity to walk according to the standards of Yehovah. He chose not to. That was his choice to not walk that way. So does the Danites. So does the tribe of Judah. So does Ephraim's, and so does Asher and us today. So this is all my key points from Judges chapter 18 and my insight, no questions, my cross reference to help you understand who Jonathan is, and no word study on today. I will leave this up as usual so that you will have the opportunity to share, even ask questions about what is presented to you. So make sure you have your Bible before you, all the writing utensils that you need, and make sure on your own you are doing the word studies. Because I do a lot of word study on my own. I may not share them all here before us, but I do my own word study. Make sure that you use maps. Make sure that you're using all the other Bible tools, Bible dictionary, Bible hub, logos, whatever that you need. Because today we are in Judges chapter 19. Now, we may not get through all of it today. Matter of fact, I don't think we are because there's so much in Judges chapter 19. But we're going to go and we're going to figure out if there's any other writings, any other books, any other letters that we need to connect to understand the contents, clarification that's in Judges chapter 19. We're going to go straight to it. Judges chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days when there's no king in Israel that there was a certain Levite sojourner on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. And her husband arose and went after her to speak friendly unto her and to bring her again, having his servant with him, a, a couple of asses, and she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsels saw him, he rejoiced to meet him. And his father in law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did not eat, so they did eat and drink and lodge there. So here we go with this theme. This is the major theme in the book of Judges, that there's no king in Israel. There's no human king in Israel. And again, we can go over this over and over and over again. There is a king. There is Yehovah, who is at the tabernacle, who is present with the Danites, who's present with the Levite, who's forever present in all places. What's the word I'm looking for? Omnipresent. This is the same Yehovah who was leading the people by the cloud by day and the fire by night. He's always been available to the people. Now, the people, when they read here in Judges chapter 19, Levite, anytime we see Levite, most people, especially of the denomination, non-denominational religious systems, go back to priesthood. Automatically go to the priest. So it's help us to understand about the Levites in the different branches of Levite. If you don't hear from me now, I'm pretty sure you heard it from me multiple times that Aaron and his sons, his bloodline is the priesthood and priesthood only under the Levites. Now we do know that he come from Kohath, but Aaron's bloodline is the only priesthood. Levite, which is Israel's son, Jacob, names changed to Israel. Israel's son had 3 sons: Goshen, Kohath, and Merari. 3 sons. And these 3 sons, the division of the work for the Levites were divided. Goshenites, which was the sons of Goshen, they focused on the tent of meeting itself, the tabernacle, the coverings, everything in the courtyards, all those altars and the cards and all that service with those items. They took care of that. Then you have the Kohath. So their duties to is to manage the table of showbread, the lampstand, the altars, all the articles that was a part of the sanctuary, those service items. So that's what they were responsible for. And Merari, they were duties were assigned to them for the pegs, the tent pegs, and the crossbars, and the posts, and the brass, and the frames, and all the ropes and stuff like that. So that was that branch's duty. So you can learn more about this in Numbers chapter 3. We did cover this actually in the Torah chap points in Numbers. Remember, the Torah chap points from Genesis to Deuteronomy was that first level where we went through summarizing each of the chapters. And now, currently, we're on the Torah studies where we go on verse by verse, reading the book of Genesis, and again, going to the book of Exodus in the month of November. So, those are the three branches of the Levites. Now, all Levites were not priests, and all priests are not Levites, you know. And this is one reason why Kohath was very upset. He wanted, you know, those they did not want to be responsible for the lampstand and the altars and stuff. He wanted the priesthood. He went against Moses for the priesthood. And you find that in Numbers chapter 16. So read about this. Get you some foundation in the word of Jehovah without the adding tradition of men. And so when we also think about the Levites, we think about, okay, this Levite has a concubine. Don't they have a specific standard? Well, the priests do have a specific standard of who they marry or who they get involved with. They can have all what we call all these um, concubines. So remember, the priest had to marry a virgin, couldn't marry a widow or a divorced woman, couldn't marry anyone that was a prostitute. You know, he was to marry a virgin among his own people, so he had to marry another female Levite. This was specifically to make sure that the priesthood remained undefiled. You know, again, you find that in Leviticus chapter 21. Go ahead and do your studies. So, in this first four verses, we have this Levite who has a concubine who played the role of a harlot, a whore, most people would say. But I question this. Let me tell you why I question whether it's a mistranslation or if this is something that we're reading incorrectly. Possible. Because, see, she was a concubine, not his former wife, and she left. But he went to get her back. So he brings her back after 4 months being away. Now, 4 months being away, it's like I gave her 4 months to calm down. It's like he had done something to make her angry or upset. So if she committed adultery, she went back to her father's house, move on. He's not Hosea. Remember, Hosea was told to marry a harlot to represent how Israel is behaving with Yehovah. He's not Hosea. But he came, not only did he come back to get her, he spoke to her friendly. He spoke friendly to her, like he was trying to talk her back into coming back home after what he has done. Again, this is hidden to me. This is more about something that he has done, and she left. Her father was happy to see him, and so they remained with the father thus for 3 days. But we're going to continue on to see how many days that he actually remained there. Verse number 5. And it came to pass on the fourth day. This is the fourth day. They rose early in the morning, that he rose up to depart. This is 4 days. And the damsel father said unto his son-in-law, comfort thy heart with a morsel of bread, and afterward go your way. And sat down. And they sat down and ate some food and drunk together. For the desert father has said unto the man, be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thy heart be merry. And when the man rose up to depart, his father in law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. And he rose early in the morning on the fifth day to depart. And the desert father said, comfort thy heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat both of them. So the concubine's father truly understand hospitality. So if you feeding and drinking and having all this laughter, all these good times, all these conversations and stuff that you're talking and you having all of this going on, it is very difficult to leave. It kind of reminds me of that Southern hospitality. It's hard to leave from one house to another. It's hard because of that hospitality and how comfortable and how welcoming they make you feel. This is what this reminds me of. Verse number 9. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine, and his servant, and his father in law, and the desert father said unto him, behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day goeth to an end. Lodge here that thy heart may be merry. Tomorrow will get you early on your way that thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night, but he rose up and he departed, and he came over about Jabes, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled, his concubine also with him. And when they were by Jabes, which is Jerusalem again, the day was forspent. And the servant said unto his master, come, I pray thee, let us turn into the city of the Jebusites and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, we will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger, that is not the children of Israel, that is not of the children of Israel. We will pass over to Gibeah. Remind you, this is the evening time. The Levite is deciding not to stay any longer, and he headed out from his father-in-law's home. So again, this is a Levite, this is the concubine, this is the servant, along with all the provision and the 2 asses. So they was headed out they ran into the city of the Jebusites. And of course, the Levite did not want to be among the strangers because these are not the children of Israel. So now his servant, it suggests to me, who wanted to go to Jebusites, that he may not be of the Israelites. So, and the reason why I say this, because people forget that an Israelite can sell themselves under servitude as a servant when they're in debt. So this is why I was paying attention to what the servant was saying to make sure, is the servant a part of the Israelite tribe, or was he from the foreign lands, the other nations? And it seemed like to me he's from the other nation. I do also want to point out the Levi made a clear statement that they are called the children of Israel. So far, from Genesis all the way through the book of Judges that we have been studying, we hear Hebrew, we hear Israelite, or children of Israel. No Jews. Again, I'm recommending for you to read what's the difference. I mean, watch the video, what's the difference? Because a Jew is a particular tribe, a particular standard of religious system. So there's a difference between a Jew and the children of Israel. So the Levite decided to go to Gibeah. This is where things began to change. This is also where many people of the denomination and non-denominational religious systems do not teach. They do not go into the book of Judges by itself. Many of the other writers of the Tanakh and the Old Testament is totally avoided unless it reads about a blessing. That alone is sad because what we present to the body, to the church, denominations, or other systems is that Yehovah, Yeshua, Jesus for some, is kind of like a genie. Like, if I say these words, I will get what I want. There are specific standards of that. As you're learning in the book of Judges, every time the people turned away from the ways of Jehovah, they ended up in oppression. They were oppressed and had wicked leaders over them, will steal their food, mess with their grains. I mean, did all type of things, brung other gods and abominations, and took the children of Israel farther and farther away from the ways of Jehovah. And the only way that they got back on track, as we've been reading in the book of Judges, is by repentance. That is the way of them getting back. And again, if they had to do that, what do you think we have to do? Yes, the Messiah came. The Messiah came, was sent by the Father to teach us how to walk out the standards, the ordinance, the instructions, the law, the Torah. And I think many of us miss that. That's why he said that this will not change out of this will not change until the new heaven and new earth comes. We have to put the whole word together. Verse 13. And he said to his servant, Come, come and let us draw near to one of these places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. So he, as a Levite, knew where the children of Israel will be at. He knew where to go. So thank goodness for that, because they're looking for some good old hospitality from among their brothers. And they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down upon them when they were by Gibeah. The sun is going down, which belonged to Benjamin. So Gibeah was a location among the tribe of Benjamin. And it turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went, he sat down in a street of the city. And there was no man that took them in into his house to lodge. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at eve, which was also Mount Ephraim, and he sojourned in Gibeah. But the men of the place were Benjamites. So they have entered into Gibeah, and they specifically went to the street of the city. So it's like the city gates. They enter the city, and no one's there offering anything. There's no door open. There's no one saying, Come with me, brethren, or anything like that. No one's showing the Israelite hospitality, which they are expecting. So we know this is what they did. No brethren supporting another brethren. Then we had this older man came who wasn't originally from the place of the Benjamites. He wasn't originally from Gibeah. He was from Mount Ephraim. But he offered. He 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 seen them. and on his way. Verse 17. And when he lifted up his eyes, now this is the old man who was working. He saw a wafer man in the street of the city, and the old man said, whither goest thou? And hence comest thou? And he said unto him, we're passing from Bethlehem, Judah, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went into Bethlehem, Judah, but I'm now going to the house of Yehovah. And there is no man that receiveth me to house. Yet there is both straw and provender for all our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me and for my handmaid, and for the young man which is with thou servants. There is no want of anything. He has everything he needs except for a roof. And the old man said, peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thou wants lay upon me. Only lodge not in the street. So he brought him into his house and gave him provender until the ass until the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. So we have this Levite once again who walked into this city, and this old man who was working in the field come out and recognize this person, and and the Levite is basically saying, I have all the provisions that I need. I have everything need for that asses. So I have the straw, and I have bread and wine for us to eat. For my handmaid, myself, and the servant. I basically, again, I just need somewhere to lay my head, just something for the night. That's what he's saying. Just need to rest my head. So this older gentleman is willing to provide them not only a roof over their head, all the provision that they need. He said, lay it all up on me, and I will take care of that. But he gave them a forewarning not to be in the street. I'm going to say again, I was expecting the community leaders to be at the entrance of the city gate. This, because that's usually where they are. I was expecting for the people to be helpful to their very own brethren. But no, that's not what we've seen. What we've seen is people totally ignoring these people, this Levite and the one that came with him. So my question, where are the elders of the tribe of Benjamin? Where are the men of the tribe of Benjamin? Surely this older man was not the only person who was working in the field. He can't be. This older gentleman gave straw and things for the asses, gave water for them to wash their feet. Remember, that's that hospitality. Again, that's not what many non-denomination religious system has added into their rituals. This is just common. You come in the house, you wash your feet. And he provided them with food and drink. He who was not originally from among the tribe of that land of Gibeah, among the Benjamites, he from Mount Ephraim. He is doing all the greeting. He's doing all the support. He is doing everything that you will normally find among the children of Israel. Greeting and supporting this Levite so that he can make it back to the house of Yehovah. We're going to end it here today. And that's because we need to go more in depth with the rest of the book of chapter 19 of the book of Judges. Then we're going to find out about the men of the Benjamites, the tribe of Benjamin. We're going to go more in depth about these Amen. So I'm hoping that you enjoying as we continue through the book of Judges. Don't forget to join me on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. as we most definitely will um, go into Judge. I think it's Genesis chapter 49 or the 48 or 49. There, yeah, 48 or 49 of Genesis, which means we almost done. And don't forget to join me next Saturday as we continue through Judges chapter 19 and beyond, as we get all the way through the controversial parts of Judges. Hold on to your hat because there's a lot that you're going to be learning. Once again, before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and that bell. And let me know with a thumbs up if you enjoyed the biblical content. And I'm praying that you will have a blessed rest of the week. May Yehovah bless you and keep you. May Yehovah shine his face on you and give you his favor. May he shine his face towards you and give you his peace. All in the mighty name of Yeshua. Amen. I really want to thank you, and I hope that you have a blessed day. And don't forget to take your studies deeper and read the rest of chapter 19 so that we can have some dialogue even during the replay. I am available. So may Jehovah bless you. Thank you.